Shazer Everett, ankle. Cornelius Lucas, ankle. Ryan Anderson, knee. Dustin Hopkins, right groin. Dontrell Inman, hamstring. Jared Norris, hamstring. And Jaron Christian, knee. With that, we can open it up. John Kime is up first. If he's not on yet, we can go to Mike Phillips.
I'm here. I just got here. Hey, Ron, what's the prognosis for Cornelius, and do you anticipate Morgan having to start at left tackle this week?
Maybe. Anything's possible. And we'll see.
And then what's the plan for free safety?
Pretty much same thing. If at the end of the week DeShazer looks like he can play, he'll play, and if not, we're working Troy Apke out there.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is the players basically aren't allowed inside the facility. How do you make sure everybody gets their work in, just in terms of working out and doing the things they need to do to be game ready?
Well, the biggest thing is, we have a set of protocols that we follow. Guys can come in based on certain situations and circumstances. If the guys are going to work out, they've got to make a specific appointment so that we know how many guys are working out at a time. We get them in, they get the workout in, and then they're done. The next group comes in. We've got to be very strict with our protocols. We've got to follow the protocols. And guys are going to go in and get treatment have got to also do the same thing. They got to make sure that the trainers know they're coming in. We can only have so many guys in the rooms at a time.
And do you have anybody who's being held out because of contact tracing right now?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Hey, Ron, at the beginning of the week, you said you're considering a kicking change. Have you decided to stick with
I
Dustin?
didn't say anything about considering kicking change, okay? Let's be straight on that. The only thing I said is they asked me what am I thinking about it? Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I said nothing about a kicking change.
So Dustin's the plan still moving forward?
Like I said, I have said nothing about a kicking change.
Thank you.
Ben's not on.
Hey, sorry, Sean. Ron, I guess just sort of a broader question. Since you're both the coach and also effectively running the front office, what have you kind of done with sort of when you talk about like scouting for guys, how they're moving forward when it looking at scouting guys, not just in terms of the talent, but also character of players? What changes, if anything, did you sort of implement upon arriving?
Well, the biggest thing we've done more so than anything else, we have a process we go through, and part of the process, we'll always talk about that. We just want to make sure we get all the details going forward as far as what we're looking for in players, as football players and as people.
Thanks.
Ron, I know every game obviously is viewed as a must-win, but when you look at the next two on the schedule with Sunday's game against the Bengals and then going to Dallas on Thanksgiving, do you view these as especially critical to not just for this season, but building for the future, as you've mentioned?
They're all must-wins, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's the only way I look at it. Everything we do, we play to win. We want to win, and that's the only way you can look at it.
Okay. Thanks.
Matt?
Hey, Ron. Yeah. Hey, Ron. When you guys met with Joe Burrow at the Combine, just what was your impression of him in your guys' meeting? And is there anything that you see from that meeting, like maybe some traits that you see him doing now with the Bengals? Like, how does it translate onto the field?
I think he's got confidence, tremendous confidence in his abilities, and it's not in a boastful way either. It's just kind of a matter of fact. You feel it. It's amazing. He and Chase had a certain charisma about the both of them. That they each had individually. And the last time I went through that was because we had the first pick when I got to Carolina when we sat down with Cam Newton. They both reminded me of Cam because they both had a certain charisma that you look for in players. Those two are the closest thing I've seen to Cam Newton.
And then maybe you guys don't do this because it's because of the COVID protocols or anything, but it's the 2-year anniversary of Alex today. Do you guys address that as a team or anything like that, or have you talked to him about it?
No,
like?
that's it's a scary thing to talk about, to be honest with you.
Hey, Ron. Good afternoon. Just following up on that 2-year anniversary thing. I'm just curious, and I know this is maybe not a fair question because you weren't here,
Yeah.
but based on what you know, what you remember, how has Alex maybe changed as a quarterback besides maybe not having the same athleticism and mobility that he once had? And could he possibly be a better thrower? Maybe just something that might stick out in your mind over the last, couple of years?
Honestly, that's not a fair question for me to answer. I will say this though, Alex has shown me he's a better thrower than I thought. I really didn't know him, to be able to tell you that, but just watching him throw the ball, especially the last 2 games, he's been pretty impressive.
When you just a follow up, when you say throw, do you mean more accuracy and ball location, or do you mean velocity, or maybe a combination?
I think a little combination of everything. He's got a little bit more velocity than I thought, and he is tremendously accurate. I mean, he really has been, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, to be honest.
Thank you, Ron.
Yep.
Hey, Ron, I wanted to ask, there was a report yesterday that maybe you guys would look to Dwayne if the team gets mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, just kind of where you're at on those decisions.
Well, it was reported, I said it just before kickoff, and I didn't talk to anybody just before kickoff other than our team, so I'm not going to address that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, JP.
Brianna?
Ron, just out of curiosity, when you guys have a team like the Bengals, who are one of the basically the leaders in giving up sacks, I'm just curious, like, for a scheme, do you guys basically try to play to that weakness with the team, or how do you guys go about it? Like, for instance, with Dallas and their bad rushing defense, it seemed like you guys took advantage of that. Is that something that you guys do or look at week to week with the team?
Well, what you do is you try to figure out, where you want to attack them and how you want to attack them more so than anything else, and whether it's an individual, whether it's by a personnel group, a formation, a situation. You have to look at those things and say, okay, these are the things that are happening, and this is how we can get after them. There's a lot that goes into it. You just don't say, oh, they don't protect well, so we're going to rush like this. No, you're going to say, okay, why aren't they protecting well? Okay, that plays to what we do here. Let's do that. I mean, you really dissect it, I think, a little bit more than people think you need to.
Thank you, Ron.
Sam?
Hey, Ron, with players limited being in the building this week, I wonder how much, if at all, that changes, just, I guess, the dynamic of the team or for the coaching staff. What does that do, I guess?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else, it just changes the way we have to approach it. And I told our guys, don't make a big deal out of it. If you make a big deal out of it, make it worrisome, then you're distracting yourself from the task, and that's getting ready to play a football game. Stay focused on the football game. The situation, circumstances are what they are. Let's deal with that and let's go forward. It's no different than having to practice outside in the cold or in the rain. There's nothing you can do about it. Do it. Just put your mind, set it, and go.
And I know there's a lot of contact, obviously, during the season, but if you guys are limited to walkthroughs, does that change anything, or does the same philosophy apply?
Well, the same philosophy applies. I mean, you got to make the best of it. I mean, we're not limited to walkthroughs. I chose to do the walkthrough today, mostly because, it's been the first time these guys were going to have to practice with masks completely on, and we wanted to see how these guys handled it, just to get them used to it more so than anything else. And so we decided to do that. Plus, last week we spent a couple of days in the bubble and then played on the turf, so we also wanted to give the guys a chance to let their bodies heal up and recover a little bit more before we started, getting them out there with helmet and shells on and stuff like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't think Les is on, so Heather, you're up.
Hey, Ron. Is this? I mean, I know you probably are getting a little tired of these questions, but just one quick one about the COVID. I mean, do guys come to you, or how, like, with the open door policy, as if it was like anything but like a regular, if they had a question about the game or a play, like, what's kind of the vibe that you're getting from these guys, and have they come to you or any of the coaches about, this current situation, just knowing that, again, it's still something that is very new, that you guys really haven't gone through?
Yeah, some guys have come in and talked about it. You know, they have concerns, and you know, but I think everybody understands that, you know, this is our new normal, and we've just got to make the best of it. And you know, and my message really is, guys, is just stick to the protocols. Don't make a big deal out of it, and just understand this is how we have to get through it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott Abraham.
Hey, Ron, just when you get fans back in the stadium, they're gone again. Do you ever just kind of reflect on what an odd time this has been for the sport and just for the world in general? This is all just unprecedented, that what everybody's going through. It's just been such a bizarre season, a bizarre time.
It has been bizarre. I mean, it's crazy how, you know, people can predict things and make things happen and just, you know, ask a question and jinx the world. I think, you know, Scott, it's been interesting, definitely.
Thank you for that, Ron.
I appreciate it, Scott. Just so you know, the protocols were brought to you by Scott Abrams on Channel 7.
That was well done.
I deserve that.
Hey, Ron, what have you thought of Chase Young and kind of how he's handled the entire season and the double and triple teams he's dealt with for a lot of these games?
I tell you what, it's been amazing to watch it. It really has. You know, because he has gotten double teamed an awful lot. I mean, he exploded on early, had a couple of really good games early. Unfortunately, got hurt, and that kind of slowed him down as he started to build himself back up. It started to look like himself. Now he's working on being doubled, and a couple times he's been tripled. You know, where he's been chipped, and then you see a tackle block and with a guard turning that way, or you see a tight end, two tight ends and a tackle, a back step. And I mean, it's been, and he's handled it, and he really has. He's fought, and he continues to compete. And what'll happen is, you know, as soon as we get this going, as soon as things start to roll the right way, you're not going to be able to double him all the time. You're just not going to be able to. And again, it's about the rest of the guys also coming together and understanding how we want to do things.
Thank you.
We got time for two more. We can open it up. No more?
That's it.
All right.
Hey, Ron, do you have an update on Bryce Love? You saw he was able to start practicing a little bit last week. Any update there?
He's just been slowed down a little bit. You know, some soreness. So we're gonna be careful with him, and we're gonna hold him out for a little bit.